Hey everyone, good to not see you again. I'm sorry I don't put a lot of videos up on my channel. I'm sure nobody's sitting on pins and needles waiting for the next video, but I always feel like I have a ton of information or things to get off my chest or things that I want to share with people, and that I'm not getting it out there, and it's very frustrating, but such is life. It takes um it's crazy times, and I'm going to be busy here in the next few weeks. So I wanted to try to get out a few dreams and some sort of overall just things that I have received in words from the Lord, instead of reading everything, or what I think is from the Lord, instead of reading everything and trying to upload that, just kind of giving you an overall sense of what I believe God's placed on my heart and what I feel in particular that I'm supposed to share. So, let me do that, okay? First of all, I hope everybody is doing well. I know it's crazy, crazy times, and I'm hopeful that this time, if you're awake, woke, this didn't come as a huge shock to you, but I know for some people it did. I didn't expect this virus necessarily, but the changes that I believed were coming in the world, I see how this virus could very easily usher in some of those changes, and that's okay. I don't say it's okay, like I'm happy about that, but I've read the end of the Bible, and I know the trajectory that this life will take at some point, and I still pray against anything that God would not will. I pray that evil would be thwarted, or whatever. I make my own prayers, but I'm also submissive to the will of God, and more importantly, I believe for myself and for his people, we have to really dig in and let God lead us. Okay, so I'm sure you know. Let me just dig in and tell you about I just said that twice. Sorry, lame. I just want to get into some of my dreams and just kind of tell you the overall thing, what I've been feeling. All right. One dream, I don't know if I've shared this already, but I had a dream that I really feel like I shared it, but I'm not going to go look back on my videos. I had chemo, so, sometimes I forget. That's fine. Whatever. I'm going to blame it on chemo and not, my own concentration problems. But anyway, I had a dream that I went to my kids' school. My kids are not in school anymore, but I went there to pick them up. There was like TSA type security at the front of the school. This was months and months ago. Okay. This is, I believe it was in November, or it was before the virus, which is why I think it's very important. So it was November, I think, but I'll have to look for sure. Anyway, so I go to pick up my kids from school, TSA type style. Like, you can't get through the school's doors without being checked. You don't just go through. You can't go see your kids in class, nothing. I wanted to get my kids out of school, and the people at the front desk were like, no, absolutely not. You don't meet this criteria. We can't just release your children to you. And I'm like, these are my kids. You can't just keep my kids. This is the rules, ma'am. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. No compassion, no love, no heartfelt humanity, like you want your children and this is really stressful. No, it was like, these are the rules. We will abide by the rules. So I thought, I really got a strong negative feeling like, boy, if rules get so bad, so strict, where there leaves no room for humanity, I can see what type of world that would create. Well, now that we've got the virus, I can see how something like that would happen. And so I'm even more disturbed about it because I'm a freedom kind of person. I believe that we should have the freedoms that God has given us. And I'm not a big government kind of person. I don't want people in my business. I don't want people telling me what I can and can't do when it's not needed. I mean, I understand there's time for rules, and I'm not like an anarchist or somebody who just doesn't believe in rules, but I believe in your right to do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting somebody or breaking reasonable laws. But I don't think that we should just have so many overarching laws that stifle our freedom. And I know that in times like what we're experiencing now, that's really at risk. So that disturbed me a lot. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to go to here. This is what's going to happen eventually. We're going to be in a time where the rules are so strict, and everybody's going to think it's for safety, of course, but you don't have freedom after that. I mean, our freedoms are diminishing day by day, and that just is what it is. And I pray that we continue to stand up for our freedoms as much as possible. And I'm praying that the people around the world will do that. And especially in our nation, try to protect those and to stand firm in what we believe is right. But I don't ever advocate. I'm a Christian, so I don't advocate any type of violence or anything like that ever. But I think that we should be paying close attention and not, we get really stuck in ideologies and things. Then people start, getting scared, and out of those fearful emotions, they want to, without realizing it, just rip somebody's rights away. And, I don't want that, and I'm hopeful that it doesn't go there. And I'm just praying about that because I like our freedoms and our individualities. Anyway, okay, so that being said, sorry I'm talking fast. I'm going to try to keep this as fast as I can, but obviously that's not working. Okay, so there was that one. I had a dream. I was on the phone with my mom, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden, the ground beneath me. So I knew that there was a particular point in the news. They had said that there was volcanic activity underneath the ground. The lava and magma, whatever the difference, was creating these basically volcanic sinkholes where the ground was just falling into this volcanic stuff, this volcano. And sorry, I just got a text and I squirrel. Anyway, okay, so I know that I have to get to this point down the street, and that's a safety zone. Well, I'm driving, and I know I'm not going to get there. I'm starting to see the ground fall underneath me. I can't get to that place. I tell my mom, okay, Mom, I'm gone. I'm going. Just tell everybody I love them. And then my car falls with the rest of it. Now, take that for what you will, but I do think at some point there's something like that. Maybe, Anyway, so that was a weird dream to me. Another dream where I hear a president. It was actually Obama in the dream. I don't know, this was during the time he was president, so that makes sense. But he gives this address to the nation on a speaker thing, on this. No, it's like all of our TVs and phones. It's like a public announcement. And while it's happening, there were 3 helicopters above my house, and one of them the center one had a United States flag on the underbelly of the helicopter. I could see that. And then there were 2 other. I think maybe that's 2 other nations, but that's just my own interpretation. I knew we were in trouble. I tell my family, let's go. We start leaving, and there are UN trucks, big trucks all over the place, and basically just moving people. Okay, that was another one. Okay, this one really freaks me out and stands out a lot to me, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm going to share it anyway. So I had a dream that there were people in water, like standing in the water or walking in the water or whatever, and they were moving with the water, like wave, just whoo, whoo, whoo. And they were not like a person swimming. Imagine just a sea of people moving in synchronicity, just with the water, just move. And I realized that we are, a good amount of us is water, like 60% water when you get to be about my age, I think. And water can be manipulated, right? So this is something that stands out to me in my dream. Like, you can literally manipulate water if you have the right tools. And so I wondered if there was something, an outside thing, that was going to create this sort of manipulation that can move the masses. Now, we know in Jesus Christ, we can be above all of those earthly things, but this was a very weird realization for me, and I have not forgotten about that. Okay. Sorry, just going through this. Okay, this is big time, guys, right here. I had a dream. Anyway, content of their character. Good stuff. Martin Luther King Jr. I was in complete, there was like dark, I might have shared this already, sorry if I did. Met like the Grand Canyon, and it's not Grand Canyon, but that's what it looks like, completely dark. I'm like at this precipice or whatever. I'm over this thing, and there's dark hole, there's dark everywhere, and I'm standing next to people. We're all just like, wow, what's happening? And these beings come, these green beings. They remind me of the little glowworm things, if you know that from back in the day. But they come up and they're looking at the people right next to me. And then all of a sudden they devour the people, like viciously devour the people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my dreams are very real. So imagine, this is just all pretty mind blowing. Well, then the thing comes to me, looks at me, scans me up and down, and I'm ready to be devoured, right? Well, then it just gets real loving, and then it just loves me, right? And I realized that this thing is scanning for the love of God, for the presence of God in the person. If you didn't have that, boom, you're gone. Okay, why do I say that? I don't think there's going to be these green beings that come out of the earth or whatever, and they start devouring people. But I believe that the love of God is the key, right? It is the key. The love of God is how people will know that you are of God, right? And so, big time, big deal. All right. So now a few things I just wanted to talk about. And sorry that I'm just kind of rushing through some of the words that I've gotten in a sort of synopsis of it all without reading word for word, or, I believe I've had several words that say that there will be new lines in the ground, like new shorelines. Like the waters would create new shorelines. So I do think there is going to be some water changing the shoreline situation. That sounds really weird, but I know you know what I'm talking about. I think that we can expect a lot of geophysical events, earthquakes. What does scripture say? Earthquakes and famines and pestilence and all that stuff. Sorry, these earrings. I'm just going to take them out because that's just really irritating. Okay. But these geophysical events happening, like, what does that mean when the stars are falling, right? And the moon doesn't give its light? If you don't know scripture, please look into that. It's just mind-boggling. But I think that there's going to be a ton of that stuff. But one of the deceptions is actually the enemy, the false prophet, whatever I can't even remember which actual player he is, but he is a deceiver, and I'm sorry, I'm spacing on that, but he is a deceiver, an end time deceiver. He makes fire fall from the sky. And it is a deception. He has the ability to do that. So there is some serious stuff that we can expect. Maybe not us, maybe not I pray not our kids or grandkids. But if we continue to let people know, then they will know and be ready when that time happens. I also want to say that our Lord says that he will come as a thief in the night, and people are going to be, praying. What are they going to do? They're going to be marrying and giving him marriage, and there's going to be banquets and all that stuff. Everybody's just carrying on like life is just good and normal and all that. That is not what's going on here. This doesn't look like the time where the Lord's talking about. This is a time where people are paying attention. I don't think that's the time where the Lord is going to come on the scene. He can do whatever he wants, but according to his own words, that doesn't seem like this is the time. So I would be praying and letting the Lord develop all of us, because we are, if you're a Christian, you are a part of the days where people are going to be saved, where people are going to come to know the Lord, and they are primed for that. They are starting to come to face with their mortality. That's huge. Okay. So the waters drawing new lines. Archaeological findings. I believe that the Lord told me there's going to be archaeological findings that will bring about new deceptions. They're going to find things in the earth. When the earth cracks and shakes and does all these weird things, they're going to start finding things in the earth. Maybe they're just finding, but like not for real finding, but just saying, hey, this part of the earth just cracked and we found this evidence of something that is not real or whatever. But in that, deception will come and probably rock people's faith. So that's another thing that I'm going to look for. Okay. I want to say, pay close attention to what you're feeding your brain. We are in a place where we can really listen to anything that we want to. We can feed a belief. We can let it grow. And, you know, the itching ears thing, God says that people turn away from sound doctrine, finding them teachers that will basically scratch their itching ears. You know, I want to learn about this and I want you to tell me this. So I'm going to continue to feed that in myself. Please be careful, because I'm finding people who are Christian who are getting so lost in political ideology or their own belief systems that they're forgetting what the Lord said. And that's really scary, because I believe that's part of all of this. That's part of the deception, the distraction, the division. You know, I'm seeing it all happen. Really disturbing. Pay attention to what you're believing, why you're believing it. There is literally on television, if you get your news from the television or from the celebrities or whatever, I'm scared for you, because there's a lot of agendas going on. You know, I feel deception when I listen to most of what I see. And it's like, man, that's frustrating, because people trust them. Do they know they're deceiving people? I don't know. And that's not really up to me. But all I know is people are being deceived every day. Really frustrating. So especially in this time when we're trying to figure out, should we open up the country? Should we do this and that? What's happening is everybody, out of their own fear, their own beliefs, have already decided very strongly. And any opposition to that is just cast away, is just like we name call, mudsling. It's just really ridiculous. We're being divided very successfully, and we have to watch that. Okay, please pay attention right now with this time where we're kind of on pause. You might be, the devil's going to hit your mind like no tomorrow, about yourself, about other people, about your life, what has happened, all of these things. I imagine if you're Christian, you're probably going through some of your own growth and, you know, your own battles, right? Please pay attention to offenses in the time as things are changing and as the birth pains get stronger. The love of many grows cold, and you have to protect that love like there is nothing else. If you have problems with people, pray God help you. Love them. Go to them. Apologize to them. Whatever you need to do, let them apologize to you, or just tell God to let that not be against their charge. Whatever you think, take this to the Lord. But you need to have it clear for yourself and hopefully for the other people. I think that a lot of people aren't okay with that thought. They don't want other people to be forgiven because the acts were so atrocious, and I can understand. So I'm just saying, whatever you need to do to be clear and free and be able to love and to walk in these last days, however long God gives us, then do it. Okay. It's almost 20 minutes. So let me just wrap it up. I hope that that's helpful in some kind of way. I hope it resonates somehow. Go ahead and leave any comments if you've had dreams similar. I imagine that a lot of people are having some similar dreams. These are old dreams, and I'll try to come back with more. I just really needed to get something out to you and to touch base. All right, you guys take care. God bless.